My name is Matthew Denny. I'm an Olympic discus thrower and ex-hammer thrower. I went to Rio 2016, Commonwealth Games silver medalist and World Youth Champion and World Uni Games champion. I grew up in a small town called Allawarra out in southeast Queensland, about 45 minutes south of Toowoomba. I actually ended up deciding quite young that I was going to focus on athletics when I was 15. A lot of people disagreed with that and thought I should keep doing other sports, especially footy. It ended up working out well for me when I won World Youth 2 years later in disc and third and hammer, which no one had ever done before. So it was a good decision from my point, and led to being what I am today. When I was younger, I was brought up to be very focused on whatever I wanted to achieve. I had to commit to and do something that I really enjoyed, and a lot of that came from mum and dad and my family. And I always looked up to my brothers a lot, just with them being in sport and very successful sports people. I really enjoyed the sport. I enjoyed how it was very focused towards, what you put in is what you get out. I think that the reason that I really focused on what I did and why I had so much drive to have achieved was just because I really enjoyed the sport and what it could bring me, and the challenge of what it was. And the challenge of being best in the world was quite entertaining being young, and it still is at 25 now. That mechanic from there to there is slightly too forward. I think when I went to all those majors, it's a very intense experience because you have so much time to think about, train for, prepare for, and then it's all reliant on basically a period of an hour. So it's definitely intense in the way that you need to be able to focus on a sole thing for a long period of time, and being able to switch off from that and deal with general life and focus on a maximum performance at a major championship. So that has helped me in lots of other areas of my life, and being able to focus on what I want to, being able to basically create a process of being successful at something and how to break that down. The thing that people need to remember being in sport or life or whatever is you never stay at the high point. You're always ebbs and flows, always getting your peaks, getting your midways, getting your low points. It's how you deal with those kinds of things, and that is how I really dealt with a lot of the hard times, was just perspective and understanding that I'm just in a low point. I'll come back out of this, but I obviously need to be willing to follow the process and commit to that, and trust my coach and my body and everything else to be able to come back out of that. Perspective and patience, and understanding that just because you have one bad day or one bad week or one bad month doesn't mean in the end of it that you should panic and think that things aren't going right.
Come on. You go. Go, Matty. Good. Good. Smoke.
When I won World Youth and when I won unis and, done all these competitions and I competed well and experienced that coming together moment, that's what makes performing well worth it. It's not getting a shiny medal or whatever. It's actually the moment that you create in harnessing everything that you train for into one specific moment when it counted. That's very intense, but also enjoyable, and just really great memories for your mind. I have 3 favourite moments. World Youth in 2013, when I nailed a PB when it counted on the day, first World Championships to win. That was pretty intense for me, especially I think it was the day or the day before I had the men's hammer final. Didn't throw so well, was quite disappointed with my performance. To then, turn that around and then win and nail it when it counted, that was very enjoyable for me. Number 2 would be Com Games 2018 for hammer. It was a very intense experience with being at home games and 2 round fouls, and then having to turn around it in the third to be able to not only do what I could but also make the final, to then turning that all around to get a silver was pretty awesome. And then number 3 would be World Champs in 2019, PB first round after I think a 3-year drought of not throwing a PB. So that was pretty awesome. Like for 3 years to be always second guessing whether I'm as good as what I was before I made Rio, to like finally confirm that when it counted to get a 6th and, you know, best performance by an Australian and in discus at a World Champs. It's really amazing to like compete for your country and to be a part of that Australian team, to travel together, to compete together, everyone have the same goal in mind, but at the same time it's also a very personal and selfish endeavour to try and be the best in the world and be the best at a competition that is so well renowned for being the most competitive, the most brutal, the most intense competition in the world. To have that challenge and to really perform when it counts is, I guess, like the addicting side to the sport, is being able to do that. And if you can get to the point where you can call yourself an Olympic champion, I think that it does make a lot of it worth it. But at the same time, just the experience is pretty crazy and intense and very memorable.